All right, we are live for the WWT, the Worldwide Technology. I feel like there's been a lot of interest, Brian, in this event, comparatively speaking to other fall swing events. I'm fired up about it. I enjoyed my break last week from PGA Tour Golf. How are you doing on this Monday evening?
I'm excited to play some golf DFS this week. I really missed it last week, and
Me too.
I'd had a couple so-so events, but before that, I'd been playing really well. I felt like I was seeing the board really well, and so I brought a couple names tonight, and we'll talk about them. And some of them may be good, some of them may be not. Some of them I may play, some of them I may not, because it's Monday and things change. But first look, we'll go for it.
Yeah, I've been fine. Like I've had the guy outright wise. I've had the guy finish in second for 3 straight weeks. And I know that's like everyone complains about that on Twitter. Like everyone loves to post like, yeah, I've hit like 2 outrights this year, but I've had 12 runner-up finishes. What bothers me about it for me is like I'm not somebody that is opposed to hedging um, to save myself a little bit. And in all 3 of these situations, the last 3 weeks, there are like good, clear hedging opportunities where people asked me if I was hedging. Other people I know that had the same bets did hedge. And for some reason, the ego in me just didn't do it in the fall swing. Um, and so that's been tough. I feel like I'm, like I said, close, but it hasn't been and it's probably, of course, just regret, like negative regression, because I did have 2 fall swings ago. I got really lucky with just like hitting a lot, and now it feels like the ball just won't go through the hoop. But hopefully that changes this week at in Mexico. The vibes are
Yes,
really high. I'm really excited
yes.
for it. And you know, I think the slate is filled with guys that we've been on, that we have a lot of opinions on. So we can dive in unless you want to talk any more about the golf course, but I feel like I covered that um on the do you have any thoughts on the data golf radar plot, Brian? You want to dive deep into that? I'm obviously
So
kidding.
I trust data golf a lot. I use data golf a lot. I am not somebody who takes their information as gospel.
I love them too. They're like an
Yeah,
essential part of my process.
no, they really do have probably. I mean, I'll tell you what I did this week and how I prepared. I went through and I clicked Corrales Punta Cana, all the courses that we talk about, plus some Easter eggs that we have from the Middle East, and I sorted in specific course lists of past Palom experience because this week I'm deciding I want you to be good on easy courses. I want you to
Yeah,
be comfortable where you have to score a lot of birdies. Bogeys are bad. You know, really foot on the you got to keep your foot on the gas on these events. Otherwise, you're not only gonna not score well, you might miss the cut at high price and high ownership.
totally agree.
Um, as far as the hedging, I'll go back to that. I went through a period where I didn't do it either, and it's. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you, it sucks. And so if I see clear opportunities, a lot of the time, I'll do it. And in a playoff, you can almost guarantee that I'm gonna do it to at least recoup something on there because at the end of the day, this is not my full time job. This is a second you know second thing that I do and I enjoy a lot and I work very hard at. But it's nice to have an extra bankroll
You
to keep
work
the going
very
next
hard
week.
at, I would add. You do, you really do. I wouldn't have you on the show if you didn't. So don't
Yeah,
sell yourself short by any means. But
yeah.
yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. Continue on the hedging.
No, before I forget, and I will not take full credit for the two things. I will not take full credit for this list of courses because I had a lot of really sharp members help me find them. And it's a list that's kind of off the beaten path. It's not super easy to find the information, but Mexico, MC, some of the other guys in there, shout out
Mexico
to
is
them.
Yeah, Bexico's going to do DP World Tour course previews for us. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. So every week on the site, like, because frankly, I don't do DP World Tour at all. I try and keep up with it and pay attention to it because Kyle and Bex talk about it so much. And if you're a DP World better, this is definitely the place for you because there's a lot of, we have a lot of DP World Tour conversation.
It's not just two of those guys. Yeah. It's a lot. There is a heavy contingent of guys who, whatever golf tournament's on, they're like Kyle, like that's going to be on the TV. Like it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. That's at least going to be on one of their TVs. So, big DP World Tour. I don't think that you can find a
shout out to Bex. He's the greatest. He's the greatest.
One more shout out just because he requested it and because he's a company man. So shout out to Dave for wearing the ISN merch to the Toronto Game 7. Sorry the Blue Jays lost, but that was sick. I just had to shout out.
That's awesome. Too, so. That's awesome. Shout out Dave. I love that. That's great.
I'm good to start on this. Did you want to talk about last week's lineups or do you want to do that at the end of the show?
Let's talk about it quickly because I think not a lot of shows do this. And I think it was your idea, to give you full credit. And I think it would be valuable. It's probably like maybe less relevant on a week like this where we had a gap week in between. So people probably have forgotten about the Black D, but quickly, we'll spend 5 minutes on it.
Okay. So Josh, do you have that? I think I sent it to Josh yesterday.
It's okay if he doesn't.
Okay. If he doesn't have it, we'll do it next week. It's really not the end of the world.
Do you have it on your screen? If you want to give Josh a second to pull it up.
I will absolutely get it on my screen. I can screen share this quite easily, actually. Let me find out. Lineups, recent.
Because
if you vamp with me for a second, I'll find out, man.
I have born to vamp, man. Where do you want to go? Springsteen? No.
Yeah, no.
We'll stay on golf. Yeah. We can do movie. Actually, I can't do movie corner at the end because Dave's now going to give me shit for this, but I do have a dinner. It's my birthday, Dave. Like I'm going to dinner with my girlfriend. So you can't give me shit for having a dinner on my birthday.
We'll talk another day. Honestly, like I said it was fine. It's not. I don't know. I didn't think it was that interesting. So, we'll do it another week.
Wait, Brian, what do you want?
There's a picture that I sent in the group.
I have it. Okay,
it has it's got two lineups, and either one will be fine to review.
Josh, what's Terran Landscapes?
It's a family and friends a landscape company. He was here on all weekends. So,
Josh, I'm sorry, I should ask you this before the show.
No, let's talk about. Let's do it, unless you're pulling it up right now, Josh. We can do. Mexico.
Yeah, let's do Mexico. We'll do that at the end.
Well, what were you saying about the comp courses?
So I'm looking for past Palom experience. Over the years, you have rightly stated that it is one of the easier grass types to play on. And it is specific to, scrambling not really mattering. You got to make a ton of birdies. The fairways are wide. The grass is soft. It keeps a lot of moisture in it. And so it's these easy scoring conditions that you see on these resort courses, but you also see them in the Middle East. You see them in Dubai, you see them in Qatar, and there's one like the Oman Open. There's a couple other ones that have come up in my research because this is a good field for that. You've got guys in the 7 to 8s that play there in the Middle East all the time, even in the 9s and 10s this time of year. So that was what I made my list of. Combine that with recent form, and there we go.
Yeah. The tricky thing with this golf course is there's a very small sample size, right? There's 2 years of data on it. And I'm not going to go into my struggles with like the small sample size, the data golf stuff based on the small sample size. But when you have a golf course that we just don't have years and years of data on, the reference point that you're going to want to look at is leaning more heavily on like the actual architecture of the golf course and what golf courses has very similar architecture and agronomy. And I think that stuff gets missed a lot in like, that's just context compared to simulations. And I think that, for example, if you look at a course like Corrales Punta Cana, which is just one example, you could also to lesser degrees talk about Vedanta Vallarta. Like the architecture here is very similar to Vedanta Vallarta as well as the agronomy. The width of the fairways here are actually wider than Vedanta Vallarta, and the length of the golf course and the proximity buckets are even a little bit shorter, which makes it even easier than Vedanta Vallarta as well. But like Corrales Punta Cana as well, if you look at those golf courses, what happens often on these resort style layouts, particularly with past palm grass that you mentioned, is that everybody is going to have a very, very easy time hitting the fairway. So distance is going to be advantageous, but it's never going to be a situation where shorter players are eliminated. And you even had in the 2 years, neither EVR nor Eckroat are like super, super long players by any means. And like Putnam is a really good example of somebody that plays really well on golf courses like this, because Putnam's like a very inaccurate driver of the ball and he's short. He's just a terrible driver. But when the fairways are so freaking wide, then just as much as you have these like Patrick Rogers types and Jesper Svensson types that can play great on these golf courses because they're hitting shorter approach shots and they can bomb away with reckless abandon and not worrying about missing the fairway. There's also going to be guys that are really great approach players and putters, particularly putters, that are just going to have roadmaps to success here because they're not playing at Torrey Pines where they're hacking long irons out of the rough. They're hacking long irons out of the fairway, right? And so, I mean, mainly for this golf course, like I really think you want to be honing in on exactly what you're talking about with Paspalum, resort course experience, easy course experience. And of course, like as much as you can measure putting on a golf course where we don't really have strokes gain data, but like slow green putting, lag putting, huge, massive greens on this Tiger Woods design. So, yeah, it is Matt Kuchar's music. Like Matt Kuchar almost won here.
I had it outright the year you guys had EVR when he was up like 6 on Saturday. Oh,
yeah. And Matt Kuchar almost won here is not because he's an accurate driver of the ball. It's because the fairways are really wide. So anyway, talk to me about the top of the slate. Can you pull up DraftKings, Josh, or the insider sheet or something like that? Go full 9K range plus, because there's only three guys in the 10K range. So okay, yeah, you can talk about how you'd be starting your lineups.
So I don't know if this is how I will start my lineups, but this is what I'm going to try to do every week. Is I'm going to be at work and I'm going to open up the app and I'm going to, reserve. First of all, what I think I'm actually going to do each week is I'm going to reserve in the lottery one lineup just so that I can go back and see what the winner was at the end. Not because I expect to win, but to see, okay, what was the winner on like a big lotto type contest? Like what structure did you need to have to get like the nuts? But anyways, so I started a lineup in 2 ways. I started with Rico and Ben, which I think is going to be really popular. And then I started Rico, and then I went, or you could pick Rico or Ben, and then I went all the way down to like Higo, Thorbjorn Olesen, and that kind of order. And so I think either one of those I think most lineups are going to have either Rico Hoey or Ben Griffin, at least one of those. Then I think you're going to go down to the 7th. I don't know. What do you think?
I think Ben Griffin and Rico are going to be incredibly popular, and I'm potentially going to play both of them because I think that you can find a lot of opportunities for lower owned guys in the 8s and 7s. I do think it's going to be a really popular start. And even thinking back to the Black Desert, like the big key that we talked about a bunch, but it didn't help me cash any massive tickets in DFS by any means, because there was one. I made a dumb mistake at the top that I can't remember. Davis Thompson.
Yep, me
Oh
too.
my God.
I
Davis
had a ton
Thompson.
of Davis
Oh my
Thompson.
God. Davis Thompson killed me. But the key that you're always looking for in these fields is the Thor from last week. You remember Thor was 9K and 5%. And he almost
Yes.
won the tournament. And so, like, I think Ben Griffin, like, when I actually looked at the numbers of my model, Ben Griffin is like first by a mile. Like, the difference between Ben Griffin and the number 2 in my model is the same difference between like number 2 and number 15. Like,
I
Ben
mean, it might
Griffin,
be a week. It might be a week where you play like you play him like he's Scotty, and that sounds really dangerous. But
I know, and he's not Scotty. Like, let's be
he's
abundantly clear
not.
there. But
Do you remember what happened last year at John Deere when you won that GP? He was like 40%,
yeah. I
and he
faded
missed the
him.
cut.
Yeah, I
Me too.
faded him.
Me
Yeah,
too.
I faded him that week. But I mean, he's not getting Scotty priced. That's the
He's
thing.
not.
He's
He's not.
10-5. The difference between him and who's number 2 on the pricing? Spawn.
Yeah.
Spawn's 10. Yeah, Spawn's 10-4. And then you have Rico at 10-2. I
No,
think
Rico's 10 flat. Rico's 10
Rico's
flat.
10
That's why I
flat.
think he's going to be like really. I mean, I didn't think there was a universe where he wasn't going to be popular.
Okay, so before I launch into like, or let me just do the reasoning for why I think this is so perfect for Ben Griffin at the top, and then
No, I
we can talk
absolutely.
about
Yeah,
the
we'll continue into the
lower
range.
9K
Sorry.
players. Ben Griffin for me is close to 1. I mean, off the tee on this golf course, I'm not very high on. He's top 5 in approach play. He is a great putter. Like, he's been making a ton of 5 to 15 footers, which is going to be like a lot more correlated with future putting success. If you're making from 5 to 15 feet, that's going to be able to take out a lot of the randomness of like the strokes gain putting that you'll acquire from making really long putts randomly. He's an amazing lag putter too, for that matter. First in this field on resort courses over the last 5 years. Second in the fall swing. He eats this time of year. Number 1 in this field in easy scoring conditions over a large sample size. So like, he's so excellent on these easy golf courses. He's a resort course merchant. He's an easy course merchant. He's a fall swing merchant. We did have top price chalk miss the cut at a fall swing event recently. I believe it was Akshay, right? At Sandy F.
Mav McNeely, something I said I wasn't going to do.
You're
That
right.
too.
We had top price chalk
Yeah.
I avoided Mav like the plague at Black
I
D. I made
I
plenty
just
of mistakes
yeah.
at Black D, but I
Oh
avoided Mav
no,
like the
mea
plague.
culpa everywhere.
I did fall into Akshay at Sandy F though, and that was brutal. And so top price chalk this fall swing does not have the best track record. We should say proceed with caution with Ben Griffin, but I'm totally falling for it. My numbers are insane on the guy in this field. I think there's a chance that he just has made a switch where he's really good. I don't know what's going to happen with Ben G in 2026, but if you look at what happened at the end of 2025, he made one of the more underrated leaps in golf.
He did,
He changed who he was as a player. He didn't just get hot with the putter or hot with his irons. He changed his skill profile. Like, he changed who he was as a player over a decently large sample size. So I'm playing Ben Griffin probably with reckless abandon, and I would be, as painful as it is to fade the guy that I've been playing with reckless abandon every week, if I had to choose between Ben Griffin and Hoey, I would choose Ben Griffin, because there's still very little evidence that Rico Hoey can gain more than 2 strokes putting to win a golf tournament. That's the problem with Rico. Like, I think he may be the best top 20 lock in the field based on the way he's hitting it. But
so you just unload the clip on that and you're good. You play Ben in DFS.
That's what I feel. I mean,
yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about who would be the guy I mean, all of the guys in the 9K range, I can make really strong cases for, including Siwoo.
Yeah, I think if you ask me right now, the chalk I will eat is Ben Griffin. I'm probably good. I'm definitely good on Hoey, I think. You got to putt here. Like, I don't know.
I will say you can't play DFS this way, but that would probably be like the most painful thing to happen to me is if Rico won when I decided to hop off.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that they're going to make his outright number better. I have room at the top still for that. I don't. I really like Grazerman. I think he's going to go overlooked. I actually think a really good idea this week, I think I might do it, is start my lineup with Thor Bjornsson. I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know what I'm going to do because there's a lot of opportunity down the board I see just from names that I was writing down. But just from a build standpoint, those are some ideas I'm thinking of right now. I do think I'm going to play some Griffin, but if I don't play Griffin, I may just fade the entire 10K.
Sorry, I was typing there.
No, you're
I
good.
just love seeing Rick in the chat playing these ridiculous events, even though they're beneath him.
Oh, hi, Rick. I brought my notebook. So Rick can see my notebook.
The 9K range, like, okay, Garrick Higo's playing out of his mind.
He is.
I think we should just mention that, like, he's going to get ownership. And Thor, I mean, Kevin Yu has 3 top 20s in a row. Kevin Yu is heavily in the mix. Kevin Yu is heavily in the mix at Black Desert and has been playing really good golf at the moment and should fit this course pretty well because he's actually been putting a lot better. Like, he has actually shown a lot more signs of life with his putter, compared to somebody like a Hoey, for example. Gracerman almost won Bay Current. Siwoo has been like trending for a long time. I've been on Siwoo for a while and he feels very close to like a victory. Like he's been playing really good golf, played well in some events on the DP World Tour. Thor's playing unbelievable.
I'm getting to him this week. I just think he's going to get a little forgotten here. I'm getting to him this week.
And then Brennan looked like prime Tiger Woods. Yeah, Brennan looked like prime Tiger Woods.
You're talking me into starting a build with 3 9Ks. Pretty, like, mixing and matching a bunch of 9Ks. I think.
I love Siwoo, yo, dude. Like, it's just I think I'm gonna let ownership tell the tale for me because I think that of these players, we are bound for one, or just from a math perspective, and I'll have the ownership up tomorrow around noon. So I need a little bit more time to figure out who it's going to be. But I think you're right. I think that Olesen and Brennan actually feel like the most likely candidates to get slept on this week. Generally, Siwoo Kim, when he's
really, I think Thor Bjornsson. Thorbjorn Olsen's on so many betting cards.
More than Michael Thor.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have gut call. If you had to guess right now, who do you think is higher owned, Garrick Higo or Thor Bjornsson?
Higo, without a doubt.
I think so too.
Yeah, Higo, without a doubt. Siwoo, I'm very interested to see because
Me too.
Data Golf has him like really high. I think the way that they got there is wrong this week. So I don't, but I also do like I wouldn't have him that high, but I also do really like him in terms of like, there are other, like his long arm play particularly, and just as like the way that he's playing, if he's lower owned, that's what I'm curious is I don't know how much people are going to value that. It seems like people are valuing that a lot more in the fall swing because there's not a lot of content in the fall swing. So I think there are a lot of people that are just going to use Data Golf as a resource because there's just not a lot of content. Like other than what we're doing, there's not a lot of other stuff to consume. Right. And Data Golf makes it really easily deliverable for you in terms of your value. So you could, have like a really great lineup or feel like you have a really great lineup without really having to put too much effort into learning about the golf course or the fall swing when, you know, you want to spend a lot more of your effort on football. So I'm curious to see where Siwoo's ownership is. If he's low, I'm definitely going to be there, and I would play him over Higo if that's the case. But I don't know how low he's going to be. It will be a test case on data golf influence for ownership this week of like how Siwoo and Higo compare, because I think logical course fit, I think a lot of people would say Higo, and you still see him on a lot of betting cards. But like Siwoo's 22-1 on data golf and Higo's 45. That's a massive, massive difference. I'm sorry to be talking so much about data golf this week, but I think it's becoming more and more relevant to give people the bigger picture about what we think people are going to do.
It's important. I think it's extremely important. And I think a lot of players who use it, you know, who just want the best plays are going to go in and they're going to say, oh, which by the way, I think is patently false when data golf says that accuracy matters more than distance this week. I just don't believe that on a course like this. I know that
we don't need to go into that, but
right. Yeah. No. We won't. But one thing I'll say about Siwoo before we move on from him, does it worry you that he has not played on any of these past Palom tracks in like 5 years?
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about that personally.
Great counter. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Great counter.
He can't putt, and he's not good in easy scoring conditions all the time. That would just be one. I don't know though. Like
very good counter. Yeah, I mean it's basically like it's not a traditional course fit for Siwoo Kim. I think the best course fit for Siwoo Kim is like TPC Sawgrass. Like I play him every year at TPC Sawgrass.
Honda, TPC Sawgrass,
Wyndham Championship. Like that's where all of his wins are. By the way,
Sony. He won Sony. Like this is not that to me.
Yeah, Sony, Wyndham, Harbortown. He's been excellent at.
The one guy I will absolutely be playing because I think he's going to go sandwiched in some way. Not sure how. Thorbjornsen. I think people might be finally tired of him.
Yeah. God, that would be another difficult one for me to hop off before the miracle.
I don't know. We'll see. I think there's a lot of options this week, which by the way, we're about to be, if we're done with the 9K range, there's plenty of really good players in the 8Ks.
Talk about the 8s. Who's your favorites in the 8s?
My favorite is, and I think he's going to be chalky. Nico is probably my favorite.
Love Nico.
I love him this week. Exactly. I mean, his Puerto Rico winner. He was T6 here. Love both of those results. Man, I'm gonna let Keith Mitchell ruin my week. I think I'm gonna do that too. I think he's a good fit for a place like this. Like really good.
Sorry, another YouTube. I don't know about Mitchell. I don't
either. I might
talk about can't being able to putt.
No, he can't putt, and you're right. That's probably why not. I couldn't do the betting number on him. I hope it gets bigger. I think Jesper's awesome here.
Yeah, I like Jesper quite a bit too. I've seen
one in Singapore too on a past Palom course. He T2 in Bahrain, T16 in Qatar.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
Right. So there are two unbelievable drivers of the ball in the 8K range.
I didn't say. I left him for you. I left one of them. I know you're going to talk about.
I was going to say Cootie surprises me. I actually thought Cootie would be in the 9K range based on the way that he's playing. He's coming off a third at the Black Desert. He's been playing some really great golf. Like he was 12th at Korn Ferry Tour Finals and 14th at the Sanderson Farms. And he's been priced quite high in a lot of these weaker field events, even when he wasn't playing good golf. And now he is playing really good golf and he didn't get the price bump. So that's what's a little surprising to me about the Cootie price is that like he was priced in the 8K range when he wasn't playing well. And now he's finding his form and playing great. Thing I would say about Cootie, I felt quite similar at the Black Desert. His like he's an unbelievable driver of the ball and maybe the best in this field right now, along with Thor and Jesper, and Rico's obviously up there too. He is not as great of an iron player, and I would rather have you be a great iron player than a great driver of the ball on this golf course. But I mean, if the ownership is low, like I think you're getting a discount on Cootie. Like I thought he would be in the 9K range. And then like shout out to Dave. Kuchar rates out really well for me.
Yeah.
He's priced higher than I thought. Like I think it's a great course fit for Kuchar. He's been so good on these places. He's so good in easy scoring conditions and past palm and slow greens. Like Kuchar loves resort courses. Like even he just loves playing well in like tropical environments, right? He's been so good at Sony too. Yeah.
Birdie fests. Courses where it's like he's just a birdie fest guy now. Like you don't want anything to do with him where it's hard, but like if it's easy, like he can putt.
Yeah, I think he's a little overpriced though. Still, just based on like I don't know if he can win anymore as a 44-year-old subjectively. You know, just
a person who can win on Pass Palom, who also probably ruins your week, is Matt Wallace.
Yeah, not interested this week.
I think I don't know. I don't know. It depends on how low owned he is.
Not interested.
I did write down Cootie because I love that. I'm probably going to do that. I'm not going to get out of here without mentioning that I'm probably going to give Nick Taylor a once over. I mean, he can win the tournament. He is overpriced, but he can win the tournament. Nobody's going to play Wyndham Clark. I don't know if they should. I don't know if you or I should either.
I don't mind him here. I don't mind him. I don't know if I'll get to him. Again, like I think this range is like I'm not interested in Bridgman here, and I'm not super. Yeah, I know that. I'm not super interested in Bridgman, Mitchell, or Wallace. I think the other guys, I'm going to see how ownership plays out, and I am going to have like a ton of Ben Griffin this week. So I'm going to be looking to get off ownership starting here and in the 7K range as well.
Well, I mean, if you play Ben Griffin and he's your highest price guy, it'll be pretty unique if you just if you fade the whole 9. Like if you can sell yourself on like 3 or 4 guys you like here, you just mix and match those, and then the key, and we'll get to it in a second, but I think the key this week is like minimize the number of 7K players in your lineups with Ben Griffin and Rico Hoey.
Yeah. That brings us to Johnny Kiefer at 7.9K.
I'm in.
I think it's just I think it's a really interesting test case this week.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that, and I've fallen into it. Like, I think that the Brennan effect, I talked about this in the Sunday pod. I think that the Brennan effect has created a necessity to not miss out on a guy that is doing incredible things on like a different tour with lesser competition than the PGA Tour. Yeah. I do personally think that like the stuff that in a vacuum, the stuff that Kiefer was doing on the Korn Ferry Tour was actually a lot more impressive than what Brennan was doing on the Latin America's Tour. Like if you're asking me between Kiefer and Brennan, who I'm taking going forward, I'm taking Kiefer without a doubt.
Yeah. Now, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say now, with that being said, like, and I think a lot, maybe because my breakdown of the golf course and theirs is different. You didn't get any of the data golf love that you got with Brennan, right? You didn't get that. So that's where I think the ownership might be. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't think he's going to be low owned. I think that he would be a lot higher owned if he got the data golf green. He didn't get the data golf green. In fact, 28-1 on him, which one book has him at, I forgot which one, is actually one of the worst bets they have because they have him at 95-1. So it's an interesting push pull this week where I'm surprised too. I took
the 50. I thought that was fine.
I took the 52. I'm surprised this week. I wouldn't beat yourself up over it too much
No,
because I think
I think that's all.
again, I think what they're weighing is different than what we might be weighing. But but that is where I'm curious about ownership, where I think the ownership could be kept in check. I think it's dangerous though. Like I don't think that because Brennan had this magical week on at Black Desert that every great player at lower levels of competition is going to translate immediately. Generally, there's a learning curve. Historically, there's a learning curve. So I'm super high on Kiefer this week. I'm going to let ownership tell the tale for me. I bet him, so I'm probably a little more okay with fading him in DraftKings if the ownership gets high. But what do you think about him and this range?
I think that, again, once you get to the sevens, I just have a lot of guys that are usually priorities for me most weeks. I do that. I tend to do that where if I play people, play them pretty consistently for long stretches of time because you don't want to be off on the week when they play well, and a lot of them are pretty consistent. So, like the first name that I wrote down here, I have it down every week. Victor Perez. He's on the team every week. He won in Abu Dhabi, T3 at Puerto Rico.
Abu Dhabi and Paspalum, right?
Oh yeah, no, all these Abu Dhabi results and the Bahrain and everything. These are all courses that Mexico's verified are Paspalum courses. So
perfect.
Nothing in that upper sevens wise. I think a lot of the stuff that I have written down is middle to low sevens, but like there are guys up there that I'm going to sell myself on. Like I could do Vincent Whaley. I know Kanaya is going to be really chalky again, and I don't like that at all.
That's that is the inverse of Kiefer, right? It's
right.
Like data golf.
Yeah, no, I'll play
Kanaya based on potentially accuracy.
Exactly.
Not that he's not playing great. Like I like Kanaya. He is playing great. But I'm curious to see what the ownership will be there. I mean, Kanaya and Perez were two core plays for me at the Black Desert. So I love the way that they're playing. And generally, like if a guy I feel like that is close and Kanaya and Perez, I'll try and stick around with them regardless of course fed. And I mean, Black Desert is similar to this golf course in a lot of ways. And Kanaya was great there. I mean, Kanaya is an amazing putter. That's the reason to play him, not because it has nothing to do with the accuracy. I mean, Kanaya is an amazing putter.
It's not the accuracy stuff. I mean, Steven Yeager's really good in Mexico too. Like that's a name that I think not many people are going to click. And again, T11 at Utah, not much good before that, but maybe he found something. Like I'm willing to maybe give that a shot. Like I'm a guy that, if you're telling me people are going to play Kanaya at twice the ownership of Steven Yeager, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
You could, I don't know. I mean, are you ready to go back to Fall Swing Merchant Mackenzie Hughes? Because like that's a name that I think could go overlooked. Like,
no,
I don't know.
Not interested.
No, I might be out on him too. When you get to the mid sevens, like Matty Schmidt is incredible on
these courses.
Yeah, and I need to stop and give you a shot because I've just moved right into the mid sevens.
No, that's
anybody
good.
else?
No, I mean Doug Gim always.
Yeah. You can always kind of sell yourself. He never putts. Like you talk about guys that never putt.
Never putts. I love Patrick Rogers this week, but that feels pretty dangerous. It seems like
it's good flop bag though.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He was good at Black Desert.
He was good last week. Never mind.
Lauer feels somewhat dangerous. I feel like that Lauer's he's the highest on the tips chart right now, so that's probably
really
according to Brian. Gross. Yeah, so that's probably going to be the highest stone in the low sevens, I would imagine. If I had to take a guess, I would say it's Lauer, which is surprising because I think there are a lot better plays in the low sevens than Lauer. I mean, Lauer, you're begging to putt, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're placing a lot of emphasis on the putter, whereas Chris Ventura,
that's the name I like.
Yeah,
I have him
Chris,
written down.
I
For sure.
love Chris Ventura this week.
Home
He's
game.
playing, yeah, he's playing great as well. And Grayson Sigg has been
Yep.
gaining like 8 strokes on approach in 2 out of his last 3 starts. So
I think
I
you and
mean,
I bet him this morning, didn't we?
yeah, I bet
Yeah.
Sigg this morning too. So the big names that I have in the low sevens are actually Sigg, Rogers, and Ventura. Who else should we mention in the low sevens?
I like Eric Cole.
Yeah,
I
me
always
too.
like Eric Cole on easy
Yeah.
scoring conditions when he doesn't have to worry about hitting tight fairways.
Just amazing in the fall swing too.
Yep. Love Seamus Power this week for Rishi.
Yeah,
Big fan of him.
I like Seamus too. Gosh,
Uh,
you're naming a lot of the guys I like. Yeah.
My favorite play, I'll say him because he's not playing anymore. My favorite play on the board was Sammy Valimaki. I actually thought he could win the tournament this week, and he WP'd.
He's not
So
playing.
that was a bummer.
Yeah, he does indeed.
I think Carson Young is elite flat lag this week.
Yeah, totally agree there on Carson. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Need to do the autopsy there.
I don't know what happened at Black Desert, but he's been unbelievable here. I mean, this is where I talked to him last year, and he almost won this event.
Yeah.
He's a amazing iron player with some real putting upside. That's been great on these types of golf courses. Like he's played this event twice, and he has a 9th and a 2nd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
he's solid.
And so, I mean, the guys that I have starred are Solinda, who looked
also
amazing at Black Desert, Power, Young, Sam Ryder as well.
Yeah, one name, and Ricky's going to be mad, but I'm going to say I'm going to play him. Rosner. I know he screwed Ricky last week. He won the Afrasia Mauritius Open, T4 and T6 in Qatar, T6 in Abu Dhabi. So he can play well on these golf courses.
Yeah. I mean, we can get to the 6s in a second because I actually think it's a more robust 6K range than we had at Black Desert. I barely played anyone in the 6K range at the Black Desert. I like quite a few guys in the 6K range.
I'll bet you some of them are going to be the same that I like.
Yeah, probably. David Ford doesn't really, David Ford doesn't really rate out that well for me long term because he really only had one PGA Tour start where he played great. But I watched him at the Black Desert and I was like, oh, this kid has it. And then like I was following his amateur career because he was on the Walker Cup team at Cypress Point. So I remember watching him at Cypress Point, and I was like, I think David Ford's unbelievable. He was a huge standout at UNC, which I hate. I love UNC Hodges, but I hate UNC, obviously. But I think Ford is just playing incredible golf. I think if he can do it on the Black Desert, there's no reason to believe that he can't do it here, even though I actually think longer term, he's going to be a guy that might be like quite good at TPC Sawgrass and courses like that. He's a lot more accurate than he is long. I just think he's playing amazing right now.
Yeah, his relative skill set chart was kind of interesting. Like it was a unique one. You don't see that very often.
Heavy accuracy. It's
like really heavy accuracy with really heavy eye. I think I don't know. It had a weird shape to it, but I was like, oh, okay.
And then Putnam is another guy that stands out to me at 6,800 as like a guy that, I mean, he's a really terrible driver of the ball. And I just like Lax and I were talking about in the Discord. I just think that there's so many avenues for him to not like make up for poor driving, like I'm not very, I mean, he finished 5th here last year. This was the example that I used of like, it's not, he's an example of short and inaccurate. So it's not necessarily the shorter guys that are playing well here because of their accuracy. It's because the fairways are so wide. And Putnam's the best example of that. If he's just like a terrible driver, but he has so many avenues to success here because he's a great putter and he's done it at a lot of these similar golf courses, right? Like he's done it at, he's played quite well at Corrales, Punta Cana as well, and a lot of these other Paspalum courses. So I like Putnam. Joel Damon's another example. Joel
Love these
Damon,
places.
Ben Coles rates out pretty well for me as well, based on the approach play.
I need to give Coles a look.
Yeah, Coles has like been hitting his irons unbelievably well. Norlander is another guy at 65. But yeah, I'm going Damon probably, Coles, Putnam, and Ford, which is kind of robust. Like you could play up, you can play up pretty highly, you know, like based on if you put one or two of these guys in the same lineup, which I'd feel super comfortable putting Ben Coles or Damon and David Ford in the same lineup.
I think you can this week. I think you kind of get into a situation where like, what's the difference between 7,100 and 6,500 here? I mean, you know, it could be something. It could be nothing. I don't know. I mean, we don't know. That's why they play. But a couple names I'll add. And again, I really do kind of like yours better a little bit, because I think if you're going to play someone down here, make sure that they make some putts. But
should we finish off with what we think is like the best version of the best lineup?
Yeah, two more names I'm going to give out, and then we'll. Sorry. I know you. Okay.
No, you're good.
Jeremy Paul won the Corn Ferry Tour event on Paspalum, and he was T2 at Corrales. And then Chan Kim's amazing here. Again, I don't know if I can do this.
I like Chan Kim too.
And Rio 6,900.
Yeah,
that's interesting too. Anyway, that's the 6K in a nutshell. I don't really think I'm going to go that much more into, but you can't. No, 20 all right.
I think that if we're making our best version of the lineup based on the guys that we talked about, and there's an event next week, so Josh, let's save this or put it in like the $5 single entry and then go over it the following week. But I
can put it in the $5 that I.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we'll do it for that, because I'm not even really. Yeah,
I think the start that we've centered around is Ben Griffin Thor.
I like it.
Don't you like it, man? Like I think that I think we both think Thor is going to be a little bit slept on this week, and I think we both are like willing and ready and able to fall into the Ben Griffin trap.
Yes, fell for it again award with Ben Griffin. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
So, all right. Honestly, I think that this construction is not too chalky, and I think that where we're going in the 7s, we don't need to pick a chalky.
Well, hang on. We could play a guy in the 8s without a doubt, or even a guy in the low 9s again, because we don't mind the 6K range.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's do that. Let's go back to the 9s.
Well, what I would actually say would be pick your favorite guy that you think needs to be in this lineup to represent this week the best for us.
Okay. Scroll back up to the 9s if you can.
I was going to ask if it was Olesen or somebody that we talked about. I mean, is it Kiefer?
Might be.
It's your choice.
Yeah, we should put Kiefer. Let's put Kiefer. Like we've been texting about him all weekend. Let's do that.
But you choose one more guy.
Okay.
Because I think we will have no problem with putting 1 or 2 6K guys in there as well.
Scroll up a little bit more. Nico. We'll do like a super studs lineup with like 68 left. Yeah, that's a good lineup.
Okay, so then I think what I would do here then is probably take the salary saver on either Chan Kim or Damon at 66, because that can even take us back to the very low 7s. Like
now you're going to make me see who the worst putter of the two is, because that's really the tiebreaker.
Yeah, or we could play David Ford at 6.7, but I think David Ford, will be decently high owned, and I don't know if we'll run into as much of that problem with Chan Kim or Damon. Who do you prefer between Damon, Chan Kim, and Ben Coles? I don't have like a strong Ben Coles, or excuse me, not Ben Coles, David Ford. I don't have like a strong preference, but I think it should be one of those 3 guys.
I can't ignore how good Joel Damon is on these golf courses.
Okay,
He
let's
is
do Damon.
awful everywhere else, but when he comes to these places, he loves them.
And then now that we have 7, that allows us,
You could play Ben Coles here too if you wanted to.
right?
If you Carson Young, man, probably the boy.
Carson Floplag. Yeah, the only other guy that I would have thrown out to you is either
Seamus Power
Power or Putnam.
Yeah, I think any of those 3 at the end. I think that this is a good aggressive construction.
You know, we're $100 short of Ventura, but that's okay.
I mean, you'd have to do Jeremy Paul, but
stick with Damon.
Yeah.
I
mean, who's at 8,400? Is there anybody at 84? I still want to play Kiefer really bad, so I don't want to play Grillo.
I don't want to play Grillo.
I mean, we could play Kuchar if you.
I think Nico Etch is so much safer than Kuchar.
I like Echeverria better too.
Yeah, I think we stick with that. Yeah, Natalie, straight up, I'm just hand up mea culpa in advance. Like, the show's been great. I did feed Walt. I walked Walt. I want to give him a peanut butter bone because he's still barking at the beginning of this show. I'm gonna need to shower very quickly and to be on time. I mean, it's gonna have to be a very fast shower and change. I think that's oh, Dave, you heard that? I thought it was kind of silent because the headphones. Yeah, he was barking for like 2 seconds at the beginning. It was totally fine. Okay, now he's sitting right under me right now. You can. I have a setup camera that I'm not going to show. But
I'm sure my dog will. Not really. I mean, I think I'm gonna see what happens with ownership and kind of know the directions of the winds, and from there, like I said, I think I'm gonna just stick to how am I gonna get to a core that's low owned and play it in some sort of roster construction-y way after I put the article together. But I think this week's a little bit more wide open, and I think that ownership could be a little bit more spread out, except for Ben Griffin. I do think that you have to be careful if you play him.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a good week. I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm glad all the ISN guys are jumping in.
Yeah, I am maybe going to be late, Natalie, but you can't get mad at me if the reason I was late was I was nourishing Walter so much with an extremely long walk that cut into the time I was planning on showering. So anyway, Brian, we'll talk about movies next week because I'm going to see
Absolutely.
I'm going to see Begonia over the weekend. We don't have time.
That will be a more fruitful conversation.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about Begonia with you. But cheers, buddy, and we'll be chopping it up. Oh, fuck yeah, Josh! So you can join the Begonia chat. All right, cheers. Hope everybody
happy birthday
enjoyed. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys soon.
We will see you soon.